Welcome to Global Spec Racing GSR Tier 1 Round 2 here for the Japanese Grand Prix. I am GSR Thrasher today, again covering Tier 1 Round 2 for the Japanese Grand Prix here in GSR. I am GSR Thrasher, and my co-commentator today is Ryan Ocon31, making his return debut as a commentator for GSR. Ryan, how you doing today?
Doing good. It's been what, 2.5, almost three, yeah, about 3 seasons. It's been a while since I've been in the commentary booth. It's good to be commentating again with you, Thrasher. It's good to be commentating Tier 1 again. The last race I commentated in this league, December 19th, 2020. Now that's over a year ago. That's almost 14 months ago, and the last race I commentated was Bahrain. The last race in the league, last week was Bahrain, so that's just perfect how it lines up like that. Back then it was Axe the winner. Axe is now in Xbox esports, so that's pretty cool to see how times have changed. But yeah, it's good to have you with me, Thrasher. I'm doing pretty good. It's good to see the amount of drivers in this race, and especially the difference in those 3 seasons. Um, Now, I believe we do have a couple people making their first starts. Now, I do want to mention just before everybody, before the race does start, that uh, FH's name has changed from FRT FH444, I'll triple four, to Shizou Finn. Just to keep that aware for everybody wondering on that, because you may notice that, you may not have, but it's worth pointing out before anybody does say something about it. Making their first start in GSR, J&T the Kid in the Alfa Romeo as a reserve, if I'm correct. Thrasher, who else is making their first start today? Is it just J&T, or is it more people?
There is more people. So Lewis M, making his first start this season in the Alpine. We have Sobbing Sock. Sobbing Sock is making his for I believe it's his debut in GSR. We have, I believe, QBR20 Kai making his debut today in GSR, and I believe Astreef is making his debut in GSR. Obviously, Jimbo, who is the Tier 2 driver, he's making his Tier 1 debut this season, and I believe that is all the debuts we have for this season. Speaking of debuts, JNT the Kid in his debut, the first one to set a lap, that's a 129.5, which is immediately smothered by Jab's 128.6.
Now, Jab is the champion from last season, and he is actually the first driver in an opening round in GSR to accumulate all 27 points available. He did that by winning the Bahrain Grand Prix last weekend. Speaking of that, I think we should go to points. But Finn, he's able to go faster than Jab. So, yeah, speaking about points, let's go on to that. Let's talk about the point standings for Tier 1 after one race. I mean, most of it's based on, well, I think all of it's based off the results, actually, but um, McLaren is on top in the constructor standings, having a double podium with both drivers, Turner and Jab, both on the podium, first and third. They lead the championship by about 20 points over Alpine. Then you have Ferrari, 30 points behind. Last week on the podium, it was FRT Gorgon, as a reserve, by the way. Just wanted to clarify in that. Um, then it was Lewis Such, Rossi, rounding out the top five. Weck, Caterpillar, Bells, Brute, and Term were the top 10. Now, last week's race, though, if I'm correct, only featured 10 finishers.
Technically, it was 8 due to Brute and Term being in AIs at the end of the race.
Okay, that makes sense.
So technically there was 10, but excluding AIs, there was only 8 drivers finishing last week's race.
Okay, that would make sense. But yeah, looking back on the history of GSR's Japanese Grand Prix, There have been an interesting ones. I remember back in season two. I know this was a long time before a couple of people, I'd say a lot of people who've raced here would know. It was restarts, rain, chaos. It was crazy, and it's good that you don't have a lot of the glitches you did back in F1 2019, at least with rain and the way there was. Because if it was a rain race, you would have a ton of glitches. I guarantee you that right now. But I think it's lucky that the F1 game doesn't have as many glitches as then. And there's been a couple seasons where Japan has been on and off the schedule, but it's back on the schedule this season. Yesterday's race was the Tier 3 race. It was my return to this league. I ended up getting a podium, but more importantly, let's speak about the other people. Harry, uh, first time in GSR history that there was consecutive back-to-back races where it was first to last by the same driver. That's the first time that's ever happened. He was able to go from first to last, able to hold on from the lead. He made a mistake in the final chicane, stacked up the field right before people pitted for inners. He was able to hold on to the lead. It was a double Alpine podium with me and Communist in second and third. Obviously, Harry had a timing glitch. Communist also had a penalty given by the game after the race had finished, so he would be third. Riles as well spun late with Communist on the restart. I think he was able to recover to fourth or fifth, one of the two, something like that. And Alessio, he was up there. He had a chance at the win. Strategy came into play late. F1 Boy was up there. Strategy came into play late. Only 7 cars finished the race out of the 14 or 16, something like that, that attended the race. And then in Tier 2 earlier today, it was wet throughout the whole race. I was supporting my driver who I was engineering, Lando Norris. He, in his debut, he started 8th or 7th, I think, and he finished on the podium. But more importantly, it was Rambo in his debut in the Ferrari, winning the race, led every single lap, except for a few. Led every green flag lap. That's what matters, though. Led every green flag lap, able to win the race. Jimbo in the McLaren and Vapor JS in the McLaren both were able to put up a fight to both of them. And a little less than, I think, 10 finishers. I think there was like 9 or 10 finishers in that race, but still a good attendance for GSR Tier 2 in that race. Nosman was able to finish in the top 5, if I'm correct, something like that. Wingo, who led the championship after Bahrain, didn't have the best of races, but he was able to recover to finish in the points, so that was great to see. Thrasher, what was your kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I guess summary on the Tier 3 race yesterday, from what you heard and had seen, and the Tier 2 race earlier today. Thrasher. Well, I don't know if Thrasher's there or not, but
All right, my controller died.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So real quick, could you invite Wolf Cook 830 back to the lobby?
Yes.
Just
give me a second for that. By the way, Venom said in the chat to put the telemetry on. That'd be a good idea, and probably go on board with somebody too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, I'll get the invite in just a second. I just need the gamer tag to invite.
All right, let's go. He joined back.
He joined back. Okay,
All right,
cool.
so let's see who's out on some laps. I believe we have Jab on a lap. Your last season's winner, last season's champion, last week winner. Jab in the McLaren. So currently in the spoon, takes it beautifully. Now do a long straight into. Oh man, I'm trying to remember names of corners. I think it's like 130R, something like that.
Yep, you're correct.
Alright, jabbing out of 130R into the final bus stop / chicane, whichever you choose to call it. Now into the final corner, jab in the McLaren. We'll put the McLaren. He stays third, only gained 2/10.
Now, before your controller died, I was saying how I was talking about the Tier 3 and the Tier 2 race, and I was gonna say, based off of what you've seen in those races, what was your summary from those races so far this weekend to kind of cap off this one?
Yeah, so I wasn't really able to watch much of either race. I was busy, especially yesterday. I watched a couple laps, but I did see the podium. Harry in his first two races in GSR, and he's gone from last to first and has won. That is just an amazing, amazing drive, both 2 weeks in a row from the debut driver of GSR, Harry. But yeah, for tier two, I saw a little bit of it, but what I did see was Wingo, who, as you said, didn't have that great of a race, actually was able to put it on the podium off of post race penalties. Um, so that was pretty. That was a good rebounding drive for Wingo. FR77 was up there in the podium spot, and sadly he binned it. Going through the S's with I believe it was 2 laps to go. So unlucky for FR. But yeah, it was a great run for Rambo, and like you said, Lando Norris, in his debut in GSR, was able to stick at second. Um, so that was a great drive from him. But I think today, tier one, I think we always like to have a class on the show, class of the show of the weekend, and I think tier one is going to be that class of the show this weekend. So I can't wait to watch these drivers, go out there and run Japan. I think it's going to be a very exciting race, and I think as long as it may be chaotic, but it will also be very, very interesting to watch.
Now you got to remember, I know Jab has both a controller and a wheel. Don't know which one he'll be running for this race. As this is more of a wheel trick for these drivers, a lot of people on wheel will have a little bit more of an advantage, especially through the S section. But we'll see how it all turns out because it's Japan, a lot of unknown, and especially if it does rain at any point in the race, which I have no idea from the tier one drivers if they've said anything about rain.
I
I've not
think they
seen
said
any,
in the
but
tier one general it was a wet race.
okay. So then, yeah, it has been wet running in all three races so far this weekend. Then and obviously you have tier four tomorrow, which you'll be running Thrasher. Now you seeing this right now, you're expecting probably a lot of rain for tomorrow with what you've seen so far. Does that worry you at all for tomorrow?
Not really. I haven't set any practice yet at all. But we'll cross that time when it gets there tomorrow. But yeah, I do expect rain for tomorrow, so I'll probably run a couple laps in the rain before the race tomorrow, and go from there.
Whatever it is about this league, one thing that's not changed throughout the time is this league always finds a way to get a lot of races in, or at least a lot of wet running in, because I ran two Japan races on this game prior to the one last night, and both of them were bone dry the whole time. Now, this weekend, I don't think there's been a single tier that's had at least no wet running. And if it is correct from what you said about the tier one general chat, saying that there is rain in the race, then I would not be surprised about that. But it is the end of this session, almost 3 minutes left. Term on top. He's got a 28-1. Is that, yeah, 28? I was seeing
Yeah,
29 for a second, but yeah, he's 2 times faster than Shizufin, who's out of the session right now.
yeah. Currently watching Wolf Cook, because I believe he's the only one that's on a valid lap at the moment. Four, almost 5 tenths up after the first sector for Wolf Cook. So I couldn't quite see the sector time. But we'll see how the rest of the lap plans out. As now Wolfcook in the Ferrari had a car up ahead of him. I believe that is the Haas of is it? No, it's XPG. What goes in front of him?
Now, after he
But
crosses the
now on
line,
the
there'll be an
screen.
AlphaTauri who does too, because out that there's one other driver on a valid lap. It's the AlphaTauri up in seventh place, Astrif.
Yeah, he's on a Oh, Wolfcook tried to get a little bit of slip from XPG, but was unable to get any. I don't believe. But now into the final bus stop, and now into the final corner for Wolfcook. Wolfcook will put the Ferrari machine only 15th,
It's not much of an
gaining.
I was gonna say it's not much of an improvement, but he's ahead of Jimbo though, so I think he's at least happy with that. But there are drivers on final flying laps, and I do apologize for
Yep.
cutting you off there, but It is important to watch these drivers come across the line. There's a lot more drivers who have started laps now. Blackdraw, Cameron, and Cameron will be one of the drivers to complete his lap at the end of this session. A lot of drivers trying to go out early and get these laps complete because you don't know what could happen. You really don't know what could happen.
Yep.
You don't know if there's an invalidation. You at least maybe want to get a second chance. It's Cameron coming to the line in the Aston Martin. Can he improve to go up any higher? Yes, he can. He's up to the top 10 now.
Yep, a bunch of guys starting laps. We had Aco start his lap. We now have a McLaren. I believe that is Turner. Turner coming to complete a lap
Jab
in the
is
McLaren.
purple in the first sector. He's up a 10th already. He might try to think about stealing pole from
Turner goes 7th.
It's an improvement from the McLaren team. They sit leading the Constructors' Championship heading into this race by a big margin, 20 points. That's surprising after the first race as a Haas.
Jimbo
Coming to the
starting
line.
Jimbo getting ready to come start his lap in the Haas. And then behind him we have, I believe that is the Alpine of Louis starting his lap. We have the Aston Martin, that's Kai starting his lap. And then we have the Haas, that's XPG, stays 12th.
Both Red Bulls starting their lap as well. In the final sector now, there's another car coming to the line. That might be a Williams. He's starting his lap as well. The flying final laps. So you got to get them in. You got to try to get pole. You got to try to do what you can.
Here comes Jab.
He is up in his time.
That's Jab to pole. 128.1.
35,000.
Does anyone have anything to say about that? We have drivers coming in to start, or I guess to finish their laps.
There's an AlphaTauri as well coming across the line. That's Astrif. He has made a mistake in his lap. He's going to have to pit. And now it's a Mercedes and Aston Martin in the final sector. Akos going a bit wide, and he is definitely done in qualifying. He's going to stay 5th for the time being. Behind him is an Aston Martin, and Louis got a fight for his grid penalty already for a collision with the Haas driver of WEC. So he is going to be demoted down the grid. Turner.
We have the McLaren and Turner. I think he's going to pull in. He is.
Yeah, cannot improve.
We have a Haas. That's Jimbo.
But he is
Jimbo on a lap,
2 seconds up.
2 seconds up.
That might make the difference.
Could this possibly put him near the top 10 for Jimbo?
Should, if he's 2
Tier
seconds
2
up.
driver.
Could do something for him. No, not enough. Wow.
Oh, only the 15th. Wow.
Kai in QBR20. He's coming across the line in the Aston Martin. Can it go any faster?
Stays 6th.
Barely, though. He can't improve a position.
We have the Red Bull Rossi 10th.
Term,
I believe, is
30,000 up right now. He can maybe steal pole from Jab right now. Jab thought he had it for the time being, but Term in the final chicane has to gain enough time to say something about it. He's the last one on a lap. Can he take pole from Jab? Yes, he can.
And he does.
He's took it by a 10th. Term and the Red Bull is going to be on pole.
What a lap from QBR20 Term.
When Jab thought he had it, he didn't. And Term goes and takes it from him. He's going to be on pole for the Japanese Grand Prix as we wait for Black Draw with the glitch that he currently has. So that's qualifying over. Wow. What an interesting end to that session. I mean, we thought Jab had it, but Term was 30,000 up in the last sector. And compared to where he was in the first sector, he was only a 10th up. But he even lost time through sector 2 as well. And I maybe thought, the only time he's got to gain is that final chicane. And he really made a big enough mistake in that final chicane to where he gained enough time to beat Jab for pole. It's going to be him and Jab on the front row, Finn and Caterpillar in the second row. Then you have Akos and Kai in the third row. Turner, Astrif, Subbing Sock, and Rossi round out the top 10. But man, this is going to be a good race then.
Yeah, I can't wait. Just so if that was the qualifying that we had, this might set up to be an interesting race, especially between Term and Jab.
J&T qualified 11th. He's if it is not a wet race, which I have no confirmation of that or not, but if it is not a wet race, he would be in prime position for fresher tires. But again, here's the qualifying results. It's Term to Jab on the front row. Then it's Finn, Caterpillar, Akos, Kai, Turner, Astrif, Subbing Sock, and Rossi. In that top 10, you have both Williams, both Mercedes, both Red Bulls, and both McLarens. So I find that crazy. But behind them, outside the top 10, it's J&T, in his debut. Cameron, Wekaz, Vapor JS, Louis, who's got a 5-player skid penalty. He'll be starting from the tail end. Jimbo, Black Draw, Wolf Cook, and Brute Gorgon, who did not set a lap time.
Yeah, Brute Gorgon, the only driver in this qualifying session not to set a lap. He wrecked out early, I believe. But we've seen a little bit of a history the past 2 weekends with drivers starting from the back and winning the race.
Not just tier 3 too. Like we mentioned, it's every tier. But Aid mentioned in the chat that Jab has some decent competition finally. Well, we'll see how it goes for Jab. Jab is the championship leader, and there is rain in this race. But is it going to be the rain where it's, we don't know as spectators, we don't know as commentators, but is it going to be the rain where it clears up at the end, it gets worse at the end, or it stays the same way throughout the whole race? We'll have to find out.
We also don't know what tires. Could it be the wets eventually? Could we stay on the intermediates throughout the race? We will find out eventually.
Now, until then, we do have a formation lap, and we do have to go over the drivers we do think have a chance at showing some potential in this race, making it exciting, and people who we think will improve from their qualifying positions. So, it's all race. Turner says it's raining all race, but we don't know if it's raining to the point where it will be going to the wets at any point. But everybody is starting on the intermediate tires. And it will be crucial to have a good start because it is much harder to pass in the rainy conditions. So, Thrasher, I'm going to ask you, who are your 2 favorites in this race? Who are 2 drivers who will improve from their qualifying position, have impressive showings, and make the race exciting?
I think the number 1 is our pole sitter, QBR20 Term. As Williams and an AlphaTauri has made collision. But Term, had a decent race going and then lagged out and couldn't get back in last week. So he definitely had pace to show last week. He showed it in qualifying here. Starts pole by over a tenth from Jab. I think Term is going to make this a very interesting race for Jab and keep Jab on his on the edge of his chair throughout the race. Another driver that would be an interesting to watch throughout the race is Black Draw, starting in 16th. Black Draw also has a lot of pace that he has yet to show in GSR, not only last weekend but in last season in general. Had some pretty good finishes, but he had way more pace. Can Black Draw finally show his pace starting from 16th? Can he possibly get into some good points starting from 16th?
Now, if there's going to be anybody else to challenge Jab, who is currently the championship leader and last season's champion, one of those people is going to be Shazoo Finn, joining a new esports team, upgrading himself to Shazoo. He's had some strong showings, but he's got to stay consistent. That's his number 1 problem right now in this league, I think, staying consistent. And if he stays consistent, he can have a good enough race to pass, beat, maybe challenge Jab for the championship for the season. We'll find out what happens. And another driver I'm going to go with is, well, we'll go with somebody outside the top 10. Why not Brute Gorgon? Brute Gorgon didn't set a lap time in qualifying. Some of his races have been relaxed, some maybe not so much, But, hey, I raced with him in a league race here at Japan. Maybe not as much of a competitive league, but he won here. So he does have that confidence at least to help him do well. He's in the AlphaTauri today, and he starts much farther back. For him, maybe the goal is just to go out and have fun. We'll find out what goes on for him. Now we get ready for the 5 red lights. Before that, Davis wants you to be the meteorologist for this race, since your name is Storm.
You what a clown. So it is pouring rain here today in Japan. We will see how this race turns out. But we have 5 red lights upon us. And away we go. Great start there from Term. But Jab also had a decent start.
They're
Jab
3 wide.
They're 3 wide farther in the back. Oh, there's a car around. But Term is able to clear Jab for the moment on the outside. Yeah. Kai gets past. And Finn dropped a couple of spots.
Black Mouse got no front wing, and I don't know if they'll say anything about that if a safety car will be put out, but it doesn't look like anything in the time being. Astrif is dropping spots as well in the AlphaTauri. Positions are trading in the S section. They're both going wheel to wheel. Him and the Williams. through the final last. The Williams subbing stock getting ahead for now, but they're both making contact once again. And it's going to allow subbing stock to take advantage and get into the top 10. But good start from Turn, good start from Jap. They keep their positions, but a better start from Kai and Akos. They've gained positions as well. 3 positions for the Aston Martin driver and 1 for the Mercedes as we head to the hairpin.
Yeah, very interesting start there. We have some battles closer on in the back. We have XPG and Vapor.js. Oh, Vapor.js. Oh, Akos is out!
Oh no, and he's gonna go off and into the barrier, and he's retired from this race. Will that bring out a safety car at any point? No safety car at the time being, but every single driver within a second of each other to start this opening lap, except for Black Raw, who is got damage at the back of the field. He's got no front wing. He's just trying to nurse it back, and it's been a struggle for him to start this race. But focusing on the lead, his Term had a jab by 5/10, then Kai, and then Turner, who is the only driver in that top 17 outside of a second. He's 2 seconds back, and he's carrying a big pack with him, and he's sliding and almost hitting the pit wall right there. That was majorly close to a race-ending collision with the pit wall. I've seen that one happen before, and he's using his ERS to possibly get away from the cars behind, who are very close, actually heading into turn 1.
Yeah, obviously there's a big gap now. The top 3 have pulled away decently from Turner. Turner 2.5 back. And as you said, carries a long train from 4th all the way back to 17th.
Now,
so this is a very long train. But in that train, we have some pretty interesting racing. We have Astrif, the AlphaTauri, all over the back with Sabing Sa. We have Finn and Rossi all over the back of Caterpillar. So it looks like they're just chilling now, no one wanting to make the move. But something to point out, it's almost a second, it's a second now between Term and Jab.
So even though DRS is not enabled, that's definitely important when it comes to the dirty air, though, because Term has got himself, yeah, he's still in clean air, but Jab's got himself some clean air to maybe gain back that time. That can maybe play a difference in this race. We'll find out. But right now, behind Finn, he's got Rossi and Cameron, who are desperate to get by, and everybody else just so close to one another. But I tell you right now, if I'm a driver, I would really hate dirty air right now, because that's playing a factor in who's got pace and who doesn't, because you could tell some people are just much faster than some people. Other people can't get by due to that dirty air.
Ninkos has left the station. Such a heartbreak lap 1 exit for FRT Akos. SQBR 20 Term leads lap 2 and sets the fastest lap with a 1:39.2. Cameron and Sabing Sa. Sabing Sa looking to try to make the move on Cameron. Oh, he's going to stick it. Is he going to send it? Oh, he tried to, but was unable to make the move. Cameron will hold on to P8 as is, but farther on back, we have Brew of Oregon getting around Louis M.
Now,
so that is now 15th for Brew.
You mentioned with Cameron and Sabing Sa, Cameron was able to take advantage of a mistake from the Williams driver at the final corner in the chicane, and was able to go around the outside to get by, but Sabing Sa couldn't hold on that position, and Astrif is off into the barrier. He may have picked up slight damage, but his race has gone outside the points now, and he has gone to the wall. But he keeps it going in the straight direction. That's something you want to do if you've gotten into an accident. But
yeah, it's Vapor.js. If you go look at Vapor.js,
yeah,
he ghosted for you as well.
I don't know if he's an AI or he's got a red X. You might want to invite him back. But actually, I'll get it. I got it.
Yeah, you did it. Yep. So, yeah, no one quite battling right now. Just some drivers, but it's not one train anymore. There's a couple breaks inside that train.
Let me invite him back.
So. Not letting you invite him back?
Let me try off the search menu.
Okay. Oh, we have a battle. Finn and Caterpillar. Finn looked to make the move now into the final corner on the straight. Well, Finn's going to look to make the move now. He's going to dive to the inside of Caterpillar. Will he be able to stick? He does. Oh, he breaks way later and makes a beautiful move on Caterpillar.
Now he was able.
That's 5th place for Finn.
He used 20% of his overtake to do so. That could come to bite him back, but he made a great move right there. I was surprised that it was able to work out the way it did. Astrif is pitting. I think that's fixing his front wing. Yes, it is. But him and Black
Well, we have a
Raw,
battle, Brute and Louis.
him and Black Raw, they're gonna have to hope for a safety car at this point because they're just so far back and they're almost. I mean, if this race is playing out the way it is, they're half a lap down. I mean, so they got to be careful. Brute's off.
Oh, Brute's off track.
And he's around. But lucky, he did not hit the barrier and he barely taps it that time.
Oh, barely touched it. He was doing so good from not being able to hit the barrier. But it's now a 1.4 gap between Term and Jab. And Kai is actually gaining on Jab. There's a yellow flag. I think that's Brute again.
Might be. Definitely tough on the tires after a spin there. Still a big DRS train though, or not DRS train, sorry, there's no DRS, but sorry, big train I meant to say. We're all within a second. I know there's no DRS, but hey, a lot of people have saved up their overtake. Some people using it right now, and that's from 6th place on back. You remember, Finn had got by Caterpillar, and he's got a big train right here, 6th, 9th, and that includes both Williams drivers with Rossi and Sabing Sak in this battle for the 6th position.
Yeah, it is. Oh, and Rossi got really close there.
It's going to allow Cameron to get by, maybe.
In the final corner.
He's got a chance at
Cameron doesn't use overtake, just stays right behind Rossi, who stays behind Caterpillar. But Kai continues to keep the same gap with Jab.
And almost 2 seconds between the race leaders, but you could just tell Cameron was getting really desperate to get by Rossi. He got to the gearbox right there. He couldn't get by, but you could tell the desperation from these drivers have stepped up a lot because of the dirty air, because they know they have the pace to get by, but they just can't. You know, it's just so hard to overtake in these wet conditions. You know, you can't go the full race in 27 laps in these inners, so there will probably have to be a pit stop at some point, but it's a matter of when. Rossi losing the rear end right before the hairpin. He's got to make sure to keep himself on track because he's keeping it in the points so far. But right now, for this podium position, 2nd place is Brute's picked up the first penalty in this race with 3-second time penalty. But this battle, like I mentioned, for the podium, Jab and Kai. Jab, 2.4 seconds back from the leader, with Kai, who is trying to keep him on his heels and trying to get him to catch up the turn. They both got, I mean, Jab's got clean air right now, so he should be the one pulling away, but Kai has got some pace and he's challenging Jab if he runs wide there. A little bit of a commentator's curse.
Your classic commentator's cursed. You've done a lot of that, haven't you?
Well,
in your history of commentating.
A couple things I've done a lot of is at the back of people. Rossi did the Caterpillar right there at the chicane. He was getting more desperate for an overtake. Both of these drivers, I think almost all these drivers are using their overtake to try to keep themselves in position here. And look who's gaining in that back of the train. JNT started 11th in this race. He's 10th right now. He's in the points in his debut. But this train could be important if it comes to mistakes from anybody in that top 5. Finn is within a second of Turner. Kai's within a second of Jab. So any mistake from those guys who are within a second of each other ahead could prevent these guys who are in this train to take advantage of that.
Yeah, Brute pits for a new wing in the AlphaTauri. So that is a pit stop for Brute. But yeah, some nice battles here. Let's see, Cameron is just trying everything he can. He's faster than Rossi, just doesn't know when to make the move as Rossi goes a little bit wide there.
No.
And then you said, yeah, Sabing Sak also behind Cameron, wants to make a move.
Now, see, what I'm noticing in this train, though, is Rev, he's able to pull away a bit more from Rossi, and Rossi has to use a bit more of his overtake to keep up with Rev right here in this battle. And that's what's allowing Rossi, Cameron, and the rest of the drivers in that battle to be able to catch up back to Rev. Rev 2.2 from Finn, and he's actually gained 6/10 right there. It's a big margin when you think about it, because Finn also, he made a mistake. He lost time to Turner, and obviously that's going to allow the Red Bull driver to capitalize here.
Yeah, correct. Its term continues to set fastest laps out, so just an outstanding start to the race for Term. 2.6 now over Jab, which has gained a little bit of time over Kai as Astreef picks up a 3-second. But Kai, who was close to Jab, within like 4 or 5 tenths, is now it's a 9/10 gap. So Jab with that clean air,
Oh,
like you were
started cutting in,
saying
but we
earlier.
have a battle that's heating up. Sobbing Sock was right at the back of Cameron, and Cameron is struggling. He hit the curb right there, got sideways, and made a mistake, which is allowing Sobbing Sock to get even closer right now to maybe try for an overtake. You know, in the rain, it's hard to try for an overtake, and he's lost the rear right there.
Ooh.
So close to a spin, allowing JNT to get closer. JNT, again, just can't make a move right there because it's a corner. You don't want to try it. And Louis has got by the Haas driver of WEC, both making a mistake right there, it looked like.
Yeah, but this is a nice little battle here with Caterpillar, Rossi, Cameron, Sobbing Sock, and JNT. You know, a nice little battle. As you know, technically, it's really the only battles on track. We have two little trains. Obviously, we have the Caterpillar, Rossi, Cameron, Sobbing Sock, JNT, and then we have Wolfcook, Louis, XPG, and Jimbo. So
Yellow
two
flag.
separate trains. Oh, we have a yellow, and that's Brute, Oregon. Wrecked out in the same spot as he did earlier on.
Doesn't look like it'll bring out a safety car unless it's going to be late, though.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Now, the more these guys battle on this train up for 6 allows the people outside of the points in their own train to maybe catch up, and Sobbing Sock is going to head into the pit lane for the first time in this race. So, is this a change to new inters? It's definitely not dry enough to go to any dry tires, that's for sure, but as we know, the inners do die quickly, or is this a bit of damage? Let's find out. No damage, it looks like. Just new inners. So yeah, as I mentioned, there was a train outside of the points. Now with him pitting, that's allowed a train who was outside of the points with Wolf Cook, Louis, and the rest of them in this battle to catch up. Now one thing I've noticed, even though you can't overtake.
JNT and Cameron.
Oh yeah, Cameron's off. Cameron is off in the gravel, and I think he may have a little bit of damage, Cameron. So, yeah, he's
Oh,
off
yeah,
again.
he does.
Yeah, for sure he does. So his race has just gone from bad to worse.
Here, can you pick up for the commentary? I have to do something real quick.
No worries. Well, we have both Haas drivers right now in 11th and 12th. You know, both are looking to get into the points. Both started outside of the points, actually. And both these drivers, they actually should have not gone on point with Vapor JS right there. But, no, both these drivers are outside the points, and they're in this battle, and in this train, which is outside the points right now. But you got to remember, any mistake from the drivers in front could allow these two to get into the points. You see Louis, who's on the back of Wolf Cook. You may not see this on stream, but you could see it on the track map. Both are close to one another. 9th and 10th right now. We've got a yellow flag. That's, I think, Astrid, if he's out of the race, is this going to be enough to bring out a safety car? Yes, it is. This will be the first one of this race. And that's cut Term's lead down from 3.5 seconds down to nothing. So this has allowed Jab, Kai, and the rest of these drivers to catch back up. Perfect time for Wolf Cook and Louis to pit. Term, my lead. You've got to feel for Term. He was pulling away, but this does reel Jab back in on lap 9 of this race. So we did see a safety car both times in this race as the Haas drivers double stack, but we did see safety cars at both points in this race in the Tier 2 and the Tier 3 races. So was it to be expected? Was it not? Well, a lot of these drivers pitting for new intermediates, and you can go the full way in this race. You can go the full way from this point on. Lando and Rambo were both able to do it in the Tier 2 race earlier on, 19 laps in the inners. We were both able to do it, so yeah, it is possible. But do you want fresher inners, or do you want to make this your only pit stop? How important is check position for these drivers? It's just a matter these guys will have to sort out for themselves. Will we see any of the leaders come in? And McLaren's up there in the top 5. They're going to have to double stack. What kind of gap is Turner going to have to back off here compared to Kai in order to not have enough of a double stack where he does get overtaken by Finn? Term, the leader right now, is he coming into the pit lane now? We'll have to find out. As we're close to halfway in this race, Term is going to pit. I'm assuming he'd bring the rest of the field in. Jab will come in. Kai will come in. Kai's actually going to stay out. Kai was looking to come in, but Kai's going to stay out.
I'm back, and there's a safety car.
There is a safety car. Astrid has crashed out. Both Alpha Caris out of this race, and Kai stays out, and he is your leader. Rev is staying out too. Oh, more drivers than I thought would stay out, but is Rev going to be turned out of the pit lane? Looks like it. Yeah, he is. Oh boy. This is
That
turning
could be
things upside
some,
down.
both drivers, Catalan and Term, are Red Bull. So that could be, I don't want to say maybe a little bit of team strategy, I guess. Maybe,
Maybe.
Term gets by Caterpillar. Maybe Caterpillar holds everyone up behind them. But Term doesn't really need that. Term's been, absolutely flying since we started. So
Now,
we'll see what happens.
something we do need to focus on in this restart is Term, Jab, and how they get by Rev Caterpillar and Kai, because that is important to how this race plays out, though, because I don't think Kai and Rev Caterpillar, I really highly doubt that they'll be able to go the full race. There might be a slim chance if we get more safety cars and they keep their track position, but they're just gonna have worn tires to the point where they might struggle to the point where they may get overtaken, and it's hard to overtake here in the rain, but we have seen it happen so far in this race a couple times. So yeah, it does play into a big factor for Term and Jab into how this race does play out for them too, and how they get by the two leaders right now on this restart. I know we'll not be going this time because you have Weck and Blackraw who's gonna have to catch back up, half a lap behind. They've had trouble, and that safety car that they were looking for, they've got now, so they have a chance to capitalize on it.
Yeah, very true. I think this was, I guess you could say pretty much a free pit stop for drivers. That most drivers decided to take, but Vapor JS is
not
a
in session.
ghost.
Sure.
But Kai and Caterpillar, did not pit. So you would think the two drivers, the average driver would have pitted, but these two decided not to.
No, see, now I'm wondering though, because I don't think now these two Red Bull drivers, Rev and Term, I don't know if Rev was expecting himself to get Term out of the pit lane here, because both these teammates, they're gonna have to work together somehow. I mean, they're on different strategies, but they're gonna have to work together in order to gain that lead back, because they've got it stolen from them. Rev didn't pit, Kai also didn't pit, but Term was the leader before the safety car had happened, so he's got to, like I said, he's got to look to gain the back. And Jab, he was 3 seconds behind Term before the safety car did come out, so he's got to make sure that he can gain that lead back. And how's he going to do it? Because in the rain it's much harder to overtake, but you gotta hope the guys in the front make less mistakes than you. And Jab doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes often, so we'll have to see how that goes.
In chat, apparently Rev Caterpillar has stated that he is just some random geezer talking about Term. So maybe they're not.
I don't know, maybe Term or maybe Kai, I don't know, because Kai is the guy in front of Rev, so it could maybe go both ways. I don't know.
It could, but
Who knows?
we will see. I'm pretty sure we will go in this time, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe
Maybe.
XPG and Blackraw should be here.
Well, if they aren't by the end of Sector 2, it may be a late one. And we know
I
this
was
game
saying
is known
maybe
for
a
that.
late call. As Wolfcook is trying to pass, we're trying to pass
It should be
Vapor
here.
JS's. Yeah.
Well, I can't.
Yeah, it looks like.
I can't say I blame Wolfcook for that because Vapor.js is not in the session. I've tried inviting him back, but he's failed to join. So yeah, the two in the back, Weck and Blackraw, they have caught up. They're just waiting on to say safety car in this time. That safety car is sped up a little bit. Yes, it is in this time. Kai going to be leading the restart along with Rev. They're the top two. They've stayed out. Behind that is Term and Jab, who were the top two before this and have pitted. Everybody else behind has pitted except for Vapor.js, JNT, and Sabing Saka both got penalties. Or no, sorry, that's Sabing Saka and Rossi, but here we come to the safety car restart. Kai spun from the lead! He's spun from the lead, and that's going to cause issues here at the back. And Term, what's happened to him? I think he spun as well, and his lead is gone. Now it's Rev's lead, and then on the new fresh tires, it is both McLarens who've taken over second and third. Oh my goodness.
So much just happened, and within a 10 to 15 second span, that now Kai just got a penalty. drops to 5th, but Caterpillar, who was on a 11-lap inters, and now look who is hunting down the race lead. Jab in the McLaren, who didn't look like he was the fastest in the first stint, but looks like he's gotten some pace and he's ready to take the lead.
Now, Term just
said
a purple sector 1, but did he synchronize spin though with Kai? That's what I'm wondering, because Kai, he lost a couple positions from that. He's down to 5th now, but Term, who was 3rd on the restart, is down to 9th now, and he's having to negotiate his way through the traffic. The Ferrari gets by his teammate as well. He's a ghost car, but this battle for the lead is going to be heating up even more. Jab and Caterpillar. Caterpillar, who's on 11-lap inners. Jab with 10-lap pressure inners, and Term is got by JNT. That's for 8th. Term trying to recover his way back up to the front of the field where he once was. He's not there anymore, but again for this race lead. Jab with overtake engaged, and the leader's got overtake engaged too, but in a 130R. No move's going to be made there, but maybe out of it. There's contact between the two leaders. And Rev has held on to the lead so far out of the chicane. Jab maybe lost a grip for a second, but he's actually gained time from it. Does Jab have more straight line speed than the leader? I mean, maybe with overtake, but definitely not without overtake, that's for sure. Kai is gaining back on Finn, 4th place in this race. Can't make a move right there, or else you'd cause yourself to go into a spin in turn 1. Cameron goes by Vapor JS, who's also ghosted once again. But Rossi and Subbing Sock, they're going to probably appeal those 5-second penalties after the race. As they did get those under safety car for a collision. I would assume some sort of appeal there, but again, the train is back formed once again, but more powerful than ever. It's the top 8 in the train, and it is Caterpillar on the older inners than Jab, 12 laps. Now, is he gonna look to go the full way or not, Thrasher?
Nah, there's no way. Caterpillar. I assume you were talking about Caterpillar, right?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Kai too.
Yeah, and Kai, especially Kai after spinning. I definitely don't see that. As Jab is trying.
We gotta move. Term
Jab is so close.
That's for 7th place in this race, and Term, that's crucially done because he's got to gain up back to Jab. Who said you can't overtake in the rain? I said that, but maybe you can again. Down the inside, Subbing Suck is gonna go. They're both wheel-to-wheel contact made. In smooth curve, and he has to back out of that one. The Williams driver, Term, is gonna go ahead, though JNT is also gonna go ahead. Whew. Back at it though. Overtake again.
Jab is just so close. He's so
Wait,
close.
130R though. 130R. We gotta move between these two, but back to the lead. Jab is very close. You're right, and he's going wide.
Oh,
he's going wide. Jab has retaken the lead, and now Finn's going by the McLaren. Can he get 2 and 1 right here? He's got the Red Bull as well. He's side by side to the line and into turn 1. The straight line speed now is 4 cars into 1. Oh boy, this is not going to work out the way we expect it to.
Oh,
Kai makes contact with Rev.
So
Turner
contact.
walks into turn 1. And it's 4 cars in a gaggle right here into the S's. They have kept it side by side. They kept it going. Turner has got by Caterpillar. Caterpillar has just lost 4 spots there within the span of the last 45 seconds right there. That's not good for him. Jab's got in here, and then it's Finn in 2nd.
Whew. Just Caterpillar went from 1st to 5th in like 3 corners.
Now, somebody did say in the chat, Rev Caterpillar has done that before, where he's gone the full race on inners. But you got to realize, though, these fresher inners are definitely working out for a couple of these drivers. Down the inside, Term is going to go again, but he loses the rear because he had contact with Rev, I think it was, at the hairpin. That might be his teammate. And yeah, that is his teammate. Sorry about that. Term's off the grass.
That's going to allow Subbing Sock to get by.
So much is just happening in this race in the safety car restart. Everything is going downhill, especially for Term, especially for Rev, who was in the top 2, and Kai, who was the leader on that safety car restart, down to 3rd, and he does have a penalty. You got to remember that. He's got 3 seconds. Net podium would be Turner right now.
Let's check penalties real quick.
Hold on, we
Kai
have
with
Rossi.
3 seconds.
We have Rossi thinking about a move into the chicane at the final corner.
Oh, he dives it down. The Caterpillar
Switch back.
with the
He's
late
looking
braking.
for it and can't get it done right there, but he's going to be looking to not lose the rear any more than that. And fastest lap's going to go to Finn, but again, we've got more battles into turn 1. Subbing Sock is gaining, so is Term. And now, Rossi cannot get by Rev there, but he's gone wide. Rev has gone wide, and that's allowed Rossi to go by, but they're both wheel-to-wheel out of turn 2. into the S's. Rossi's going by. He's got the position. Rev might try to look to go back at it, but can't do so right there. And these cars are all so close to one another. Williams versus Red Bull, this is. Where have we seen that before?
This is where have we seen that before?
Huh.
Term,
A couple of times.
so close. Term wanting to make a move on stopping sock.
Well, his place where he made the move last lap was at the hairpin. He's gained overtake as well. He might make it to the right side this time, not
around
the left
the outside.
Pinching him. He's made contact, and he's trying to go around the outside, but he's getting pinched severely, and there's a little bit of more touching between the wheels. And he's lost it!
Oh, it turns around!
He's lost his front wing as well! And again, oh man. And it's just gone from bad to worse again. He's outside the points now. That's caused yellow flags, which has caused the Haas to lose a couple positions. Black Raw's going by.
Black Raw! Oh, what a save from Black Raw. Him and Cameron had a little bit of contact, and Black Raw lost the rear so much.
Making a move again, subbing socket to hairpin, or to chicane this time on Rev Caterpillar. Behind that, there's also moves being made, but this is more exciting for the time being because there was contact. Sobbing sock has gone by. Rev Caterpillar looking to go back at it though. To the left side, into turn one. Yellow flags.
Yellow flag. That's XPG.
But there's still wheel to wheel. Into the S's now. Rev has to back out of that one for the time being.
And look who has been brought up right into this battle, JNT and the Alfa Romeo.
The lead has been cut down 5/10 between Finn and Jab, 4/10 now. And Weck is out. Is that in the pit lane though? That's a retirement on track. Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
On track, no.
So that'll be a penalty, most likely.
Most likely, if anybody does decide to clip that or report it. Black Raw's got himself a penalty. He's just barely outside the points. That could be crucial when it comes to his race. And now, out of the hairpin, Rev Caterpillar is still hanging on to a couple positions, but he's losing a lot of time on the older inners. Because JNT has got him in his sights.
Something I'd like to point out here. Kai, who had that spin from the lead, on 15-lap enters, has drove himself still into P3. And is not really losing time. He does have a penalty, but he's not really losing time.
Well,
Finn is so close to Jab.
Oh, he is. And he's got so much less overtake, and Jab again has saved his overtake, something he's been prone to do. 50% Finn below 10. And you got to remember, it could be a double McLaren podium again because Kai has that 3-second penalty. And the net podium, if this race were to finish right now, would be Turner. Turner would be on the podium, making it a double McLaren podium, as I mentioned.
For 2 weeks in a row, may I add.
That's true. 4/10. You can see that Finn sees Jab right in front of him. He's within his sights, but the overtake might be the thing making the difference, and especially mistakes being made. 4/10 again, that gap. Speaking of mistakes, he lost it. He lost the rear right there, Finn did. And that is true, as you mentioned, Elise. You know, every race this weekend has been rain affected at some point. Jimbo, outside the points again. Another driver outside the points who's picked up a penalty. If he's looking to get in the points, you can't get penalties like that, because there is a big battle in front of them that they all could take advantage of. Still a train. I mean, from 7th on back. I mean, Caterpillar still struggling, but he's able to hold JNT off. He's got much more overtake too.
Also, Thrasher. Yes, Alicia. Thank you. I am good. Alicia is tier 2 commentary goat. Anyways, speaking of goats, Jab.
Hold on, we've got a Williams battle into the chicane. Is there going to be a move being made? There was close to a move made at 130R, and that's why I want to focus on it, is Jab does take the fastest lap. But I want to focus on this because these Williams drivers, 5th and 6th, both have penalties, I believe, from each other, which they are looking to appeal, but they were close to contact right there. I don't know how they didn't make any.
Caterpillar under pressure from JNT now. JNT trying to make his moves, but is yet to be having the opportunity to make the move on.
Yellow flag.
Capital, we have a yellow flag. It's Cameron.
And he's out of the race. Will this bring out any VSC or safety car?
Out of 130R.
It doesn't look like it right now. Doesn't look like anything
It looks
from
like
it.
we're going to stay green.
Oh, that's definitely what the leaders want to hear because they want to keep up this battle for this race lead. 410's Term taking over the fastest lap. He stole it from Jeb and Finn, who've been trading that fastest lap all race. The flag. It's Jimbo. He was outside the points, and he did have a penalty.
Oh, we have a black raw trying to get around Wolf Cook.
Both Williams are close again, too. That's for 5th. Might see something go on in 130R again. They were both battling close there. Depends on the traction you get out. Not enough traction there for both Williams to maybe make a move. Well, actually, they've got closer than I thought they would because right here, the ERF's difference is making a little bit of a difference. But when the 130R, both Williams looking to go side by side. Now in a chicane this time, it's going to be Sabing Sak going around the outside of Rossi. He's got the move complete right there. Behind that in the background, JNT still trying to pass Rev, and then behind that, Black Raw right on the back of Wolf Cook. This is for points, but you got to remember, Black Raw has a penalty.
Oh my God, Wolf Cook almost hit.
Wow.
You can tell. Hats off also real quick to Kai and Caterpillar on 18-lap old tires. And you see some of these guys that are on like 8-lap tires, 9-lap tires getting sideways. Imagine what Kai and Caterpillar are going through.
Well, they have lost a bit of time, but they sure haven't lost talent since then, that's for sure. And Black Raw, again, is just so close, but the closer battle that could be the most affecting one in this race is the race. Jab and Finn, once again, 4/10, 5/10 Term, another fastest lap. And we do have, 8 laps to go this time, so see how it plays into these drivers' hands. Black Raw is close again, and Jimbo has spun off. No front wing. That's out of turn 8. He's gone into the gravel, and his race is going even worse. Again, he's going to need a safety car if he wants to get back into contention.
No, pretty much. The only battle, well, we got a couple battles, but the one main battle is the battle for the race lead. Jab only by a couple of tenths over Finn, but Finn has been gaining.
Yo, flag!
And Jimbo's out.
Yep, this could bring out a safety car. Will it? We'll find out. Nothing as of yet.
I don't think so. It will not.
Wolf Cook has got a penalty. He's currently inside the points, so him and Black Raw, I think both are even on penalties in this part of the race, and Black Raw keeps losing the rear right there, right before the pit wall.
Oh, Louis and JNT.
At turn 1, both side by side. This time on the inside, Louis is going through, but he's going wide. Can he complete the pass still? They're both going to go side by side under the S's, but JNT does back off.
What a move there for Louis.
Piggy has lost the rear. Black Raw, he has kept it going, but he's lost time to points. So yeah, as I was mentioning, both of them have penalties, which makes them even on penalties, and their chance for points is pretty even. I mean, it's 1 point, but it could play a factor for the rest of the season for them. A little bit wide for Wolf Cook.
That gap between Jab and Finn still staying at around 5/10. Oh, Finn actually got a little bit wide there. He may have gotten a warning from that.
Well, again, this battle for the lead is still heating up, but the battle for points between Black Raw and Wolf Cook is still close for 10th place right now. Alfa Romeo versus Ferrari. And if a safety car does come out, their chance of points could be ruined because, you know, that'd play in a term in Vapor GS's favor. Still leading the train, Rev Caterpillar on 19 lap inners.
Black to Raw, Wolf Cook.
Now. Kai as well, holding onto the podium. And you got to remember, Kai does have a penalty. Not in that podium anymore. He's pulled away 3 seconds in order to hold himself on that podium. as the time stays. They're looking to go the whole race in inners. Now, oh, Black Draw is hitting the back of Wolf Cook right there for 10th, but I've got to ask, as Finn picks up a penalty, that's crucial in this race for this lead, and he's spun and he's
Oh,
out.
and Finn's out!
He's out, and this could bring out the safety car that we were talking about, because that is on track. That's in the middle of the track, but there's still no safety. Now there is a safety car.
There it is.
There we go. Well, that safety car is changing this race, for sure, because it's got Term to catch back up, who is pitting for new inners, and he was just shy of being lapped, so he can maybe take some points out of this race. He's had a really bad race after his first spin actually. Well, does anybody try to pit here? Kai's going to pit even though he's in second right now. He does have that penalty, and he is not going to go the full race in the end. Turner, Jeb's teammate, is going to do 1-2 with them right here on the safety car restart, it looks like. Both Williams are going to stay out. Rev staying out, and Cook is out. He was in the points as well, and Black Raw's got a penalty actually for colliding with him. And he's got damage. He's going to have to pit, surely. So, everybody else who's stayed out in the top 6, anywhere from 11 to 13 lap inners, they have older tires, Thrasher, than Kai and Rev Caterpillar and Black Raw, who have pitted here 7th, 8th, and 9th. We thought Kai and Rev Caterpillar were going to go the full race. It looked like that. This is a late safety car. We're going to have a late restart with a couple laps to go. I know there's been a lot of mistakes in this race, and a lot of people made mistakes on older tires. We saw Kai spin off the restart. We saw Term spin off the restart. Term was on newer tires. Kai on older tires. Now, 6th on up is on older tires than 7th, 8th, and 9th. And Term 11th. Is that going to be crucial on this restart, Thrasher?
I think it is. Sorry, I'm just looking at the Twitch chat.
Yeah, very immature, which was why I'm ignoring it. But continue.
Sorry, what was the question?
I was saying, are these older tires in the top 6 going to play a factor in this restart on Kai, Caterpillar, Black Raw, and Term, who have all pitted on this safety car?
It could, due to the age gap on tires. You know, expect Jab, Turner and J&T on 11 laps, along with Rossi and Sabingsak on 13. And Louis M on 12 laps. So, it could, depending on, you know, how many laps we have left of racing. And it also depends on, you know, penalties. Because if we take a look at penalties real quick, we have Sabingsak with 10 seconds, Rossi with 5 seconds. I believe they both had a 5-second with one another.
Well, I will say, though, it's going to be a late restart. It's going to be 4 to go, I think, when this race does restart. You still have Black Raw, Vapor.js, who's not in the session, I believe, and Term still having to catch up. Now, even though Vapor.js didn't return to the session, and you think they'll probably... What are they going to do about that? What do you think, Thrasher?
I'm sorry, Alright. So what was the question?
Don't worry about it. I was gonna say, Vapor.js is not in the session, but he's gonna complete this race by default, I think, because he's ghosted. So what do you think they'll do about that? Because there's a possibility that it could be 10 finishes
it'll
and he
be a
might finish,
disqualification. So what they'll probably do is they would move Term up to 10th, and he would get the last point if this is how it was finished. So the 10 remaining drivers that we do have, as long as, they don't wreck out, we'll each get at least a point. So, yeah, that's what we did last week with Term and Blue Gorgon when they were both in AIs. So that is what we would do this time.
True, and I think we'll be restarting this time. Thrasher, lead him off to the restart.
Alright, so let's go on board with Jab here on the safety car restart. Everyone is caught up, so we should be good. Already gave there it is. The safety car in this lap from the race control. Jab, Turner, both McLarens, and you have Sock, Rossi, both Williams are your top 4. Top 6 on older intermediate tires. Everyone behind them on fresh inters. When does Jab go? And he goes now.
Now, how are the McLarens going to defend in this restart, though? Because that's going to be the question. Because, I mean, people have a chance for this podium. Here goes Kai on JNT. Kai's got by.
Rossi, Louis M. Battling Louis M, trying to do everything he can to get past Rossi.
Both Williams right now have their podium in sights. I mean, but they've got to keep it. They both have 5-second penalties, which I'd assume they'd be appealing. But if they don't choose to appeal them, then it's not going to get removed. Right now, it is Williams on the podium, but Louis is trying to steal that away from them. And Term, who has a struggling race, he's at the back of this pack. I want to focus on him because he has made some interesting moves at the hairpin. He's much closer to Black Raw this time. Will he try moving the hairpin this time? He's made some good moves in the hairpin. And he's going to go diving down the inside.
Ooh,
long way back,
Louis
like I said, but loose the rear. And Louis is down the order. He's made a mistake out of the hairpin, losing the rear. And now he's side by side with Rev. Into the grass, actually. Rev has gone by. Louis can't say anything about that one unless he gets himself into contact. That's not good right there.
Contact with Caterpillar.
Well, JNT, or not JNT, Black Raw. JNT's the other Alpha Romeo. Black Raw to get into this battle. Again, this is for points positions in this race.
We have a closer battle up towards the front.
Louis lost it. He's gone to the wall. And he luckily has kept himself in the race somehow. Kai on Rossi. Kai is going to go by Rossi here for 4th place in this race. Louis has got himself a 3-second penalty. That's outside the points now.
And Louis has retired.
So there will be 10 finishers, maybe 9 with Vapor JS. JNT's picked up a penalty. He's currently got himself inside the points. He might lose a couple positions due to that, but it is both McLarens 1-2. And Jab didn't get pole. And didn't get fastest lap, didn't get the bonus points he wants, but he might start off the season with 52 points out of the 54 available. That's impressive right there. And we still have a battle behind that with Turner, who's trying to keep himself on the podium, subbing Sock, who's got penalties, trying to keep himself on the podium, depending on what the penalty situation ends up being, because he may get those 10 seconds appealed. But if he doesn't, you've got Kai, you've got Rossi, who's got a 3-second penalty now, which factors in him, JNT, and Rev Caterpillar, who doesn't have any for him as well.
Yeah, this could be something for Rev Caterpillar. He could gain a couple spots here off of penalties if he can stay in the position that he is currently. Remember, Caterpillar went long on the first set of intermediate tires, looking for it to pay off here after the safety car that just recently came out. But we are now coming to 2 laps to go. This time, Jab leads 1.5 over his teammate.
This train right here in the back is getting really impatient. Term has a slide. Black Raw has a slide. They both nearly hit the pit wall. And 5th place is getting more interesting in this race as Rossi is just barely holding on to it for the time being. In front of that, they've all caught up to Turner, who's losing time to Jab. And this is for 2nd place. I mean, off of penalties, they might not get it, but if there's appeals, we'll find out post-race. That could matter, though. That could matter for the podium. If McLaren does get a 1-2 or not. J&T and Rev Caterpillar going side by side in the S section. Caterpillar on the outside, J&T still holding it on the inside. Both are wheel to wheel. As we head into turn 8, J&T almost keeping the rear wheel right there. The teammate
What a
of
move
J&T.
there for Caterpillar.
The teammate of J&T. These two have been teammates in other leagues many, many times. Black Raw and J&T. Both trying to get 6th in this race. Both trying to gain more positions. Turn down the inside at the hairpin. He's thinking about it. He's going by Black Raw, but he's trying to get by the other Alfa Romeo J&T. He's got the chance to do so right now. J&T struggling, and Black Raw and J&T in turn. It's an Alfa Romeo versus Red Bull for the final points positions, and Black Raw's been pushed out wide. This time will be the final lap, though. Term holding on for the time being. Black Raw coming back at it in the slipstream. Black Raw in the slipstream of Term in the slipstream of J&T into the S section, or sorry, into the 130R section. This time, J&T holding on, but Term is looking to make a move down the inside. Black Raw goes though. Both wheel to wheel out of the hairpin. Black Raw getting back by Term. Term being pushed out wide again. And this is the final lap this time. This is the lap that it matters for these positions. Black Raw holding on for the time being, but Term is trying around the outside once again. He can't get it done that time. And in front of that, Rev Caterpillar is trying on Rofty, trying for a move for 5th place.
Kai is also trying on Sobbing Sock as well for the P3 on track.
Might be on track, but this could decide the podium based off of penalties and everything else. It is another mistake by Sobbing Sock, and Kai going through a tricky section in the track. He's got by. Kai has got by. Term can't get by Black Raw either. He just can't get by at turn 8. Kai was able to do so. He wasn't able to do so there. Now into the hairpin. A tricky section of the track, but a section of the track where moves have been made, and there he goes into the wall. That's Black Raw. And his front wing is gone. So his chance at a better points position is over. Term is still trying to gain on J&T. He can't get by there. Rev Caterpillar behind Roth. He can't get by there either. The Williams and the Aston Martin of Sobbing Sock and Kai trying to battle for the podium at this final stage of the race. But we got to focus on the race leader. He won the championship last season. He won the opening race of the season. Got 27 points last week. Not as much this week with 25. He's dominated this one after crazy chaos. Jab is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix. He's won the opening races of this season. Coming onto the podium, it's Turner and Kai. Completes the podium spots, but to the line behind that, but Caterpillar will come home 4th, Term, then J&T. That's all going to be pending post-race penalties and post-race appeals as well. It is Jab and Turner, though, making it a McLaren 1-2.
What an outstanding final stint there from Jab. Once Jab got the lead, Jab never looked back.
That's true.
So what a great run.
Congratulations to him. Congratulations to McLaren. They're going to be leading by almost over, well, I don't know about almost now. I think it will be over a race gap with McLaren. Can McLaren win another Constructors' Championship in GSR? This might be their season. We'll find out. Still got a long way to go in the championship. 2 rounds done. I think 14 more to go. And one thing we've seen so far that's stayed the same is Jab is still his dominant self. And he has got a strong teammate with him as well this season who's got double podiums.
Alright, I'm going to invite
Our
podium here. Let's see.
Got Jab. You get Turner and Kai.
Yep, there's Jab. There's Turner. There's Kai.
All right. And Term did end up collecting the fastest lap and the pole point. He will have 12 points to his race result. Red Bull, both double top 5. That may pend post-race appeals regarding the Williams drivers. We'll find out.
Sent both Turner and Kai invite. Turner got a podium last week but did not have an interview. So I assume it's going to be the same as this week.
Kai says their mic does not work, so I think it'll just be Jab here maybe. And I think we should get started. Jab, I've got to ask. It was a great race from you. You never looked back after you took the lead. And again, you're still showing dominant signs in league racing and in GSR. Champion last season, opening round win last week, and another win this week. Talk us through your race. Talk us through the dominance once again.
Um, well, I wasn't really prepared for the wet, really. But QBR term, he was really the main competition. He was the man to beat. But then everything happened on the safety car. He spun, almost hit him, so I had to avoid him. But then after that, then Kai spun, and then everyone just started spinning. Then Finn spun behind me. There's chaos all around me. But we just didn't make any mistake and came home with the dub.
Now you speak about mistakes. That's kind of been what's happened in GSR for the last 2 seasons. This season and last, you've made the least amount of mistakes and you've come out winning races. And it did look like it was a race full of mistakes from other drivers except for yourself. Now, with that being said, I've got to ask. It's a wet race in Japan. You're on the controller for this race. Am I correct on that? You were on the controller?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously that's a little bit more trickier. Tell me about how hard is it not to make as much mistakes as the other drivers have made, because that played a factor into you winning this race. It was just staying in trouble, surviving. Talk us through that. How important is it?
Oh, well, it's really just know which curves to hit and which to avoid, and when to shift up at the right time. Really like manage your pace. Some people push too hard, and that's when you
Yeah.
start seeing mistakes. But I was just like being consistent, knowing that if I make the least amount of mistakes, I can get a good finish, and we end up getting the win at the end. So yeah.
Well, one more question before I leave it off to Thrasher for questions and to finish the stream. I've got to ask. Last season champion, opening 2 rounds, you've won, and you have a teammate who is helping you win the constructors this season. It looks like you got Turner, who has got back-to-back podiums, a third and a second now, making a McLaren 1-2 today. How reliant is it going to be for your teammate to help you win the drivers' championship again, and maybe get the constructors' championship this time?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a huge help. I wish he was in here so I could thank him and congratulate him on the podium. But he's a really good driver. He's been helping me out. Defending people off. And he's been up there. So if we ever get in a situation, I know he's gonna have my back.
And that's good to have as being teammates for sure. Congratulations on your win. Congratulations on the opening start of the season. You've accumulated 52 out of the 54 points available. And I'll leave it off to Thrasher for any questions and to finish the stream.
Alright, so first of all, Jab, congratulations on your race win. So obviously, you weren't the quickest driver out there. Term definitely had the pace out there in the beginning of the race. But how did you feel like battling with him throughout the race?
It's pretty good. Obviously, on the start, we were side by side, and we kept it pretty clean. And he was just quick off that last corner. I couldn't even really keep up with him. And he ran a great race all of it to that point. But no, he's a good racer. He races clean. He left me room on lap 1, and no, hopefully he can bounce back. But his mistakes, end up helping me win today.
Yeah, also I have to ask, there's a rumor going
No.
around that you're going to be going to Chick-fil-A
Oh no.
to celebrate. Is that true?
Maybe. Might get Turner some too.
That'd be good.
Hey, Turner deserves
Yeah.
some.
That'd be good.
Zach
Good
Brown
work,
got
good
it.
teamwork, good teamwork.
Congratulations on your race win, and we'll see you next week.
Can us commentators
Alright.
have some too, Jeb?
What happened?
Can us commentators have some too?
Oh yeah, everybody can get some.
All right, cool.
Man, we all know Jab ain't giving me any.
Oh.
Alright, well, that's going to do it here for Global Spec Racing. Tune in tomorrow at around the same time. Actually, it'll be 8:30
You can.
p.m. Britain Standard Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Tier 4 at Japan. And next week, every tier will go to...
Portugal.
What's the track?
Portugal,
Portugal.
Portimao.
That'll be an interesting track for these tier 1 drivers and for every tier. But that's going to do it. Reminder, go check out SilentXEnergy.com. They sell energy drinks, they sell merchandise. Again, it is SilentXEnergy.com. Check it out. Thank you for Silent for sponsoring GSR today and throughout the season.
I was gonna say, could I just say something before you do finish? I did mention Aiden, the rest of the other people did want me to mention that they do want me doing tier 1 with you, Thrasher. I don't know if you mentioned that or not, but doing tier 1 for probably the rest of the season. So you will see me more often. It's not the last, and I just wanted to mention that quickly to people who did or didn't enjoy the commentary today. So yeah.
Alright, cool. No more commentating by myself. Thank you, Lord. Alright, well, that's going to do it for us. I've been GSR Thrasher. That has been Ryan Ocon 31. Jab had a remarkable last stint, won today's Tier 1 race. Congratulations as well to Turner and to Kai on the podium. Thank you, everyone, and have a